Well, we met in 2011 in fall. We were both going to Evangel. And yeah, Bethany, my suite mate, his cousin, kind of, I don't know, put us together, and then it began.
Yeah. It was the most expensive date I'd ever been on.
Evangel.
And very shortly into our dating, I started having seizures. I didn't know there were seizures at the time, having never had them before. And gradually they increased in frequency and length until one night it was like 10 to 15 seizures in the course of an hour. I don't really remember how many because my memory's a little messed up at that point. And that night we ended up going to the hospital. I had a seizure in the emergency room, and that got us help pretty quick. In the hospital, we discovered that I had a cavernoma in my left temporal lobe, which was causing the seizures. I was bleeding into my brain, and that's never good. So they got me some medication, got the seizures under control, and then after graduating from Evangel, we moved down to Florida so I could have a brain surgery with the doctors that I'd established with. And that was the first big health hurdle that we got through, and we were optimistic that it was just going to be easy coasting after that, but
yeah, not so lucky.
Not so lucky.
Yep. In 2015, after that surgery, we had moved back to Des Moines, Iowa, where I'm from, and we had been doing great. And then just one morning, woke up, all of a sudden had all these issues. It felt like I was getting a new symptom every hour. Yeah, when I went to the doctor just a couple days after that, just hoping that they'd tell me what was wrong with me, and they couldn't figure it out. We went to doctor after doctor, and they pretty much all just had no answer, where they told me I was making up the pain. It was, I don't know, it was just kind of really terrible.
It was tough, definitely not knowing what was going on. That was probably one of the hardest parts for me. Just seeing her be in pain and no explanation behind it. That was pretty difficult.
I don't know, the worst part for me was, clearly I knew I was in pain, and my family knew I was in pain. They could see it on me, but yeah, going from doctor to doctor, them just looking at me and telling me that, yeah, you're crazy. Oh, there's nothing wrong with you. Your labs look normal. Your test came back fine. That was just, it was hard to hear. I found a nurse practitioner. She finally, kind of put two and two together and said, I think you have Lyme disease. Let's test you. And yeah, sure enough, the test came back and it was positive. Yeah, once I found out I had Lyme disease, I was trying to figure out which treatment was going to be best for me. That's the hard thing about Lyme disease, is it affects every single person differently. So what might work for me isn't going to work for him, or so-and-so over there. So it's just been really tough trying to figure out, what my body is going to respond to, and if my body's going to handle it well.
So after we met up with this nurse practitioner out in Dubuque, we started a very rigorous course of treatment with IV antibiotics as well as oral antibiotics and different types of supplements, just trying to get aggressive with treating Lyme. It took so long for them to actually diagnose Lyme, to actually figure out what it was, that it actually became chronic. So now it's going to be a long road with this type of treatment. Unfortunately, we've kind of come to a place where the treatment protocol that she's been on has kind of stalled. We saw some improvement at the beginning, but since then it's kind of plateaued, really. So now we have a new treatment plan with a new doctor, one of the best in the country, based out of Washington, D.C. So we're going to see him every now and then. How often?
Every 4 to 6 weeks. It just depends on how my body responds, and at that point it just varies. So
now the IV antibiotics, we're having them administered through a PICC line.
Yep.
So she actually has it right here in her arm. It's going from her arm all the way through her chest directly to her heart.
Yep. And I've had that now for 6-7 months.
Yeah.
And it's, you hook yourself up to a line, and that's how you get your medication, through a bag every day. You're hooked to a pole, and that's plugged into the wall. Yeah, this has been a huge adjustment, for both of us. Before Lyme, I was very active, involved in pretty much everything. Sports. I was on a select soccer team and show choir, marching band, played the piano, was Miss Percussionist, and I don't know, I was just involved in so much and loved to be busy, and that's kind of how I thrived. Loved to work, had my first job at the age of 16. I was so used to that life being constantly busy and, just doing that it's been hard doing that, and now it's just me sitting at home plugged into the wall.
So Lyme disease comes from a tick bite. We didn't realize something so life-changing could come from something so small. It took so long for them to diagnose because Lyme actually mimics a lot of different diseases and disorders. I think it's over 200 some odd different diseases and disorders. So it presents like a lot of different things in a lot of different people. So it's very difficult to detect. Lyme, if it's not treated soon enough, it actually starts attacking a lot of different sections of the body quite quickly, actually. It can attack the nervous system, bones, blood, muscles, heart.
I mean, in me, it's more neurological. I mean, this has been a struggle. Mm-hmm. Having a conversation. I mean, I forget what I'm saying, stutter on words. If you've seen me walking, it's a lot better now than what it was, but, You
actually can walk now.
Yeah, physical therapy does wonders.
It does.
But, standing up, standing by myself in the shower, just the things that used to be so simple are now, they're hard.
Through all this, faith has been something huge for us, relying on God.
And each other. It's difficult, but in those circumstances, you can either choose to be frustrated, you can make that conscious choice to just live frustrated, or you get discouraged.
Right. Or you can choose joy, and we choose joy. And even through all of this, we remain confident that God will provide, either through miraculous healing or financially. We serve a big God who is much bigger than this Lyme disease, and it's not gonna stop us.
So today, I choose joy. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Oh, see, I need him.